got a new show for y'all.
Got a damn good show. This damn Diddy trial has been a nothing burger. This stupid crap. Yes. I haven't seen anything remotely close to trafficking women.
And I follow it like every day. I listen to like different podcasts and different like news outlets and stuff.
I catch some memes on World Star Hip Hop here now.
Yeah, they be salacious with it, but I mean, yeah,
it's straight drama over there.
Yeah, so it's not much that happened this week. There was an outburst in court. Some lady they kicked her out of the courtroom for whatever. No really big developments. Just still character killing this dude, assassination, and that's pretty much it. Other than what just happened today, like with
they gotta have something. I guess they holding something for ace in the hole. I don't know. Nah, I ain't got nothing on that dude. Got something in that back pocket. They ain't got nothing.
If they don't, then it's a possibility. Well, as long as he don't keep doing this stupid shit. I mean,
Hold up.
There was breaking news just now in the trial ongoing of Sean Diddy Combs. Our Laura Coates has been covering. She's outside the court.
This literally just happened.
Tell us
today.
about the theatrics inside the court.
There was a major moment just now inside of the Diddy trial. While the jury had left the room, the judge had a conference with the actual attorneys, at which point the judge said, I was so clear this morning to Mr. Agnifilo, who is the lead counsel, I was so clear this morning there were not to be any reactions to this jury. There were not to be any theatrics. Was I or was I not clear? Mr. Agnifilo said that they were clear about it. He then admonished Sean Diddy Combs, the defendant in this RICO trafficking and prostitution case, that he had been nodding at the jury. He had been looking straight at the jurors. The judge, in no uncertain terms, said that that was not the correct behavior and that he threatened to preclude Sean Diddy Combs from being inside of the courtroom for possibly the duration of his own trial if he continued to look at the jurors and nod and react in any way to the testimony that was coming in. This was a really big moment, of course, for the judge to make this statement. He is on trial, of course, fighting for his life, could spend the rest of his life in prison if he is convicted of all 5 charges. The judge said he expects this not to happen again, that the defendant in his case would look at the jurors, would nod, or in any way react. Now, you can imagine if you are the jury in this case, hearing testimony come in where the defense was scoring some significant points to a witness by the name of Vanna, who they tried to chip away from her credibility line by line, even suggesting she did not know the date of the alleged dangling off of the balcony incident, or that she was somehow in cahoots with Patsy to concoct some narrative and to promote Vanna's own civil lawsuit. So you have the impression for the jury that he's not able to react in some way. How would that possibly hamstring the defense? This just happened. Sean Diddy Combs threatened with not being able to be present for his trial if he reacts or nods and looks at the jury who is waiting to decide his own fate.
And Laura, as someone who has been in a number of courtrooms, seen a number of cases, how rare is it for something like this to happen, for a judge to say, listen, you keep doing this, you're not going to be sitting here for your own trial?
I have seen it, of course, with theatrical and particularly disruptive defendants who are told to calm down or not to be theatrical in the way they are presenting the jury to sway them. I've also heard it if the judge believes that somehow the conduct of the defendant might possibly influence or intimidate the jurors in this case, direct eye contact or otherwise. But to have this particular reaction in this high profile of a case when a defense is well versed in the appellate process and knows full well that anything that the judge orders their defendant and client not to do, if a conviction results, could very well go up on appeal. And of course, you've got the common sense notion. Imagine, if you will, the hypothetical, if you were accused of a horrendous crime, and the jurors will naturally, as human beings, look to the defendant for some human reaction of any kind. If one is not provided, there could be some adverse inference drawn for that jurors. And so if you are a defendant, it is a human instinct to react. The judge, however, had a very tight leash on this trial, including the attorneys and beyond. This was a moment that I have not seen where Sean Diddy Combs, who is normally stoic, looking ahead, has been threatened. If he reacts and looks at the jury and nods along with the testimony in an effort to try to persuade them on his own thoughts, he could possibly not be present for his own criminal federal trial.
I do want to ask you, as you look ahead to the rest of the day, obviously you'll be keeping a close eye on what Combs is doing in there if he puts himself in that position to be essentially kicked out of the courtroom. But we're going to hear this testimony from an accuser.
They put up all his drug use pictures, not that one, but like
what are we expecting
the earlier
from that
one, you could see it.
Yeah.
Well, the jury is waiting to hear information regarding the claims that the prosecution must carry its burden of proof to conclude. Remember, there are 5 felony charges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so he was like just staring down the jurors?
Yeah, it's like you cannot, like if something happens in court, whatever, something happens on the stand, what she was saying, like, sometimes the juror look at you to see your reaction to what's happening, see if you have any remorse or if you're showing any type of emotion.
Right.
But you, the actual defendant, cannot look over to them when something either positive happens or something else and be like,
yeah.
You can't look at them and be like, hey, like, you
Be
can't
like looking
do
at
that.
jurors. See? They lying. You right there testifying, you're sitting in there. You testifying during the whole trial.
So it's a disservice to him because it plays into that narrative that he is he wants control of every single thing. And I understand, like, yo, you on trial for your life. You know, so you're gonna be in there, and and he's never been in this position, and most people, you know, would do something. Like, I know I would probably do it out of just subconsciously, like, hey, please, Lord, don't send me to
like something good. I'd be like, you like it. He can still do it then, I guess. If just don't look at you, just be like,
like, that's what I've been saying, like, you know, like that kind of stuff. But it just depends on the judge's temperament. And all of that.
You know what? It depends on if the judge likes you.
That's true too.
Or if he's got a vendetta against you.
That's true too.
Yeah.
That's true too.
But if that trial ends today, is he found guilty?
I don't. If you were able to watch the trial and you could see that instead of the hearsay of how this went, because when you watch the OJ trial, I remember all the teachers in my high school used to have it on. Like, you know, so you would be watching it and then you could watch the news later and you would see like how certain defendants would talk. You like, oh, he's definitely going to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, or you could see the emotions of people. Right now, we're just kind of reading off of what news reporters say and sketches. That's all that's online that you see or whatever.
Hey, how true is this? They said not Diddy, but 50 Cent's ex testified?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I was reading that on World Star Hip Hop that his ex testified and that she used to go to freak-offs with Diddy. Yeah. That explains the turmoil between those two.
The biggest thing between them, he explained it on Andrew Schultz's I Got a Clip.
Like, we should be having beef.
Oh,
okay.
So that's the behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music, but there's behind the scenes business deals that a guy is getting involved with on the side, and it's not like you're going to go public and be like, they tried to stop my vitamin water.
This deal, and you go, he said that to you, like.
Okay.
Wow. Like, they'll speak to your temperament. Like, say, you know, if 50's a little crazy, he'll say anything. You see what saying anything did to Kanye.
So they're he's basically trying to scare people out of doing deals with you. Interesting. And then M shut it down and he was like, yo, it's got to happen.
If he's not coming, I'm not coming. And then it changes the whole thing because he really is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they can say what they want.
Yeah, no.
But when we go to the stats, the actual
numbers don't
know
lie.
the numbers.
He's the
and
biggest
before
one.
the days of the bots and all that shit.
So after this incident that happened I'll play that clip too. After this incident that happened at a hip hop manager's wedding, him and Diddy started to go like this. And you know, 50's a troll, so he just started trolling Diddy, talking about like his demeanor and like basically insinuating, y'all know he gay, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, way back. I mean, talking 2006, 7, back then or whatever. So they kind of went like this. So what he was saying in that clip is the things that people don't see are the things that why he does what he does with Diddy, because Diddy was trying to actively on the back end sabotage some of the things that he had going, and his only saving grace was Eminem. Because if Eminem back in the day said, hey, if you ain't supporting him, then I'm not coming. And that was just like,
no, really?
Yeah, that was like, they're like, oh, no. And they would just go through with it because of the word of Eminem. So Diddy was trying to sabotage a lot of what he had going in the background. So that's why 50 is the way he is.
I say things to the borderline, like, I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like, all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Amika's in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. This is really happening. I'm just saying to you.
So y'all might not get that. So what happened was at this wedding, a long time ago, when the birthday song came out, his biggest song, what's it called? In the Club. When that song was out, he was at Chris Lighty's wedding. And Diddy was like, yo, you hot now. Oh, cool. We got to go shopping. And 50 was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he has that demeanor like, I don't want to go shopping. So after that wedding and after that incident, that's when he went around and just started doing his like Diddy campaign and like, that dude weird, that kind of stuff.
He invited me to go shopping. And
so they're just validating that a lot of people back then thought he was crazy and saying, hey, that's not true. And then you have pictures of me and him in the same shirt.
You set that up. Look, you set that up. He's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
He obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Like you go, I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, girls, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that. That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that was
get away with Wifey.
That's obviously doing chopping.
That was a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, because
it was someone's wedding.
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this. And I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's puff.
Yeah. So that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
That's what the genesis of their back and forth comes from. So,
because he's always, I've noticed he takes a liking to certain people and he won't leave them alone.
Oh man, if you get on 50's bad side, it's over. That's it.
He gonna troll you for the
You're gonna be trolled for life. Okay, that's just how it goes. Some people just have that temperament. I'm not. I used to be that way, but I just relinquish control when I don't like people.
Yeah.
If I don't like you, I'm just like, I don't like you, but I'm not going to let it affect me when you see me. When I see you or vice versa, I just relinquish it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're Casper at that point. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let things go or they ruin your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like he's having fun with it.
I think Diddy just stayed at the table too long with his tyrant activity. I think at a certain point you have to know when you don't have as much authority is not the word I'm looking for, I guess.
Pull, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
He's like, his star is coming down.
Yeah.
So you can't be out there doing that same stuff.
Yeah.
And you was like generating more
Exactly.
hype and money and for everybody that was involved.
Because before it was bartering. It was like, okay, like you get with Diddy and oh my God, it's like 10x, 100x your career, you know? But then you get into the late 2000, you talking about 2000, like, 15, 16, 17 and up, you start losing your cachet and people like, I don't really have to deal with you no more.
Right.
So yeah, some people just have a hard time letting go of when they coming down the mountain.
Yeah. Some people, yeah. Madonna's a great example of that.
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Yeah.
They just try to hang on to it. They love being in the limelight. Once the limelight on me starts to fade away, I'm just gonna fade away.
Just fade away with it.
Just fade away.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
There's a graceful way to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's a good, graceful way to just slide down the mountain instead of just reaching back, grabbing rocks. And
Yeah, these people.
Yeah, you
Going
just.
down here. It's embarrassing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. You know, so there was a thing, there's always been this saying in the industry, retire from the game, don't let the game retire you.
Yep. Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah. That's a beautiful quote.
Yeah.
A lot of people should take that advice.
Take that advice.
Because they're out here looking crazy.
Yeah.
Hold up.